Hello everyone, how are you doing? This is Nusrat and today I'm here with a new video, and basically it's my live series every Monday morning for people who are in USA, in Canada, and also evening for people who are in India, Bangladesh, and all these places. So all these days, what I'm going to do every Monday is I'm going to focus on motivation, inspiration, something to make Mondays better for you all. And today's topic is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be mainly for women, and we are going to talk about self-care for women, especially those who are caregivers. So I'm going to wait for some time for everyone to come. Okay. Awesome. So, hello, Carissa. Hello, Jennifer, Susan, Tara. It's great to see you guys. All right. This session is also going live on YouTube. So if anyone wants to watch the replay, you could go to Nusrat Fritz. And without further ado, let's start our session today. I'm doing it a bit early, which is a little bit noisy from where I live, but I guess this is not going to be too much of a distraction, right? So, self-care for women, especially women who are caregivers, and this is true for people who are in any country, okay? And it's also true for men as well. Men who are caregivers, they also go through the same process. But in today's video, I'm focusing specifically on women. So, for example, women who are in the South Asian countries like Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, they often have to struggle between work and family. Like they have to give time to their career, they have to take care of their kids, and also have a lot of responsibilities. And the same goes for women who are abroad. And of course, like I said, there is like no there's no partiality between men and women. I know that men also work hard, and they also have to balance work and family. But I guess in the next session, I could do it self-care for men. Okay. In this session, I'm doing it for women, specifically who are caregivers. So today's session is going to cover how you can actually find some time to heal yourself, to take care of yourself, to stay less stressed while you juggle between all that you do. Now, who is a caregiver? If you are looking after someone, after an elderly person in your house, after someone who requires long-time attention, someone who requires a lot of care, so you can call yourself a caregiver. Caregivers are actually people who not only take care of themselves, they also take care of someone else for a long period of time. So a lot of people can fall into this category regardless of the gender. And now what happens with caregivers usually is that they are so preoccupied in taking care of others, in handling everyday life, in doing a lot of work, for the service of humanity or for others, is that sometimes they actually take less care of themselves. They actually forget about themselves. And from there onwards, most of them face a lot of problem. Like some of them may feel depressed, some of them may feel like people do not understand them, they may feel isolated, they may feel frustrated. And these are like very, very common problems of caregivers. And now, if you want to differentiate between caregivers and someone, who is more self-oriented, okay, someone who only thinks about themselves, and I'm not suggesting that, we should only be preoccupied with ourselves. Of course, that's not how it should be done. We should care for others as well. But by hypothesis, like just for the sake of logic, just for the sake of argument, compare a caregiver with someone who is always like thinking about himself or herself. So what happens is that someone who is very self-obsessed, they know what they want, they know how to demand it and how to get it. They want something, they want food, they want anything, and they will not care about others. Okay, they would just zone out and they would focus on their own importance, on their own self-worth, and they would do anything possible to gain that thing, right? And the opposite is true for caregiver. When she or he wants something, she or he would think, how would it, affect others? Will that decision bring any harm or good to society, to the people in her family? So she's always making decisions, or he is always making decisions that is best for everyone, compared to someone who is like really self-oriented. And now, of course, this means that caregivers are really sympathetic and they're really helpful, they're really kind. But sometimes what happens is that when you're thinking about everyone, you forget about yourself completely. And this is basically what we want to avoid. Caregivers especially should take special care of their own needs. And you will also find it, I think, some of the people who are here, you are caregivers, whether you're caring for your family member, for someone who is not well, or for people in general. Even if you're like serving humanity, you're also probably a caregiver, because you're always making decisions that's best for everyone, even if that decision isn't really the best for you, right? So what happens is that we're really constantly thinking about others. We're constantly in other people's frames. We're constantly making decisions that's the best for everyone. But sometimes we also need to make decisions that are the best for us, even if it means that it will not affect others. I'm not saying that, I'm not suggesting that it should harm others. Definitely your decision, any of your decisions should not harm anybody. But for example, this could be in simple things. It could be in simple things such as what you're going to have in dinner, in a hangout. If you constantly find yourself saying yes to everything because that's what's best for everyone, you are constantly saying no to yourself. Okay, saying yes to everyone all the time means you're constantly saying no to yourself, and that's what we need to stop. You need to stand up for yourself, because what happens is that people really take, they get used to this kind of behavior. When you are not taking care of yourself, when you are not standing up for yourself, you will find that people in general also do not stand up for you. And when people are rather, more, what should I say, they're more demanding, they want attention, they want to get things done their way, you will see that people also give them that space, that, okay, you know what, she or he is just going to throw a tantrum if he or she doesn't get what they want, so just let her have it. And people treat caregivers, or people treat those who do not stand up for themselves in a different manner. They also be like, okay, she doesn't even have, or he doesn't even have the strength to argue, to fight for what she needs. So let's also treat her like that. Let's take her, or let's take him for granted. So you need to be able to stand up for yourself, to have a voice when you need to. And this is something we all need to do. We all need to be our own friend. And I have seen, for example, in our society, our mothers, they do everything for everyone, and nobody even asks them, how are you doing? You work hard all day for all the family members. This is for Indian and Bangladeshi, Pakistani families, but nobody asks the mother, how are they? And that's the same for most caregivers in any part of the world. So you need to stand up for yourself. You need to have some decisions, make some decisions that's best just for you. And the problem with caregivers is that they're empaths. They can feel what others are feeling, and this is one of the reasons why they find it so difficult to make decisions on their own, because they feel that, when they're choosing themselves, when they're making choices for their own interest, how the other person reacts. If the other person is like irritated or upset at a certain decision, what empaths do is that they give up on it. They go like, okay, since my decision is hurting you or is making you experience some kind of discomfort, I'm just going to let it go, and I'm going to do what you want me to do. And this is something that needs to stop for caregivers, for empaths, for anyone. Okay, empathy is a really good feeling. It's a very positive feeling, but you must have your own frame. And I go to the next one. You must have some boundaries. Okay, you need to be able to exercise some boundaries. You need to be able to say no. And that's also the next one. Wait, learn to say no. Okay, there's a lot of slides in one place. So basically, being an empath is great, but you also need to be strong. You need to have that frame that you shouldn't be just saying yes all the time. Okay, sometimes it's okay to be selfish, and self-care isn't selfish at all. It's all about prioritizing yourself so that you can be there for others. If you are not taking care of yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, or in any way, how can you give that energy to another person? So before everything else, it's important that you take care of yourself so that you can give back that energy. When you're physically, mentally, and emotionally fit, that's only when you can give service or value to your family, to your friends, to the world. Okay, but if you are, for example, if you care so much, if you're giving so much care to someone that you become physically ill or mentally frustrated or emotionally stressed, then you are not going to be able to continue giving that service to others, right? So it's very important that you practice self-care. And yeah, this is something that's true for many women and also men, that it's, I guess it's more true for us women, that they are sometimes unable to express their frustration and their depressions. I mean, they feel like others will just guess it, they would be able to understand. But the thing is, everyone will not be able to understand what's going on inside our minds. So we must be able to express that, and in a constructive way. We must be able to voice out our frustrations in a manner that is that doesn't really invite arguments, but it helps people understand what's going on inside our minds. So until now, how many of you here would have that feeling of nobody understands me, and I'm always alone, or I'm always isolated? Okay, yeah, so there are some yeses. So basically, that's what people go through when they're unable to express, because they feel like others would somehow understand them to some level. And perhaps that kind of expectation usually hurts us, because we always understand something based on our own consciousness level. Like, someone may interpret something in a certain manner and other people may not, and someone may be thinking about something else and may have no idea what you are thinking about, but you may actually relate it to something regarding to you. And that, okay, maybe this person is upset or not talking to me for so and so reason, but that person may not even be aware of such a thing. It could be some office pressure or something. So you need to be able to communicate effectively. You need to be able to express your anger, your causes of anger, depression, frustration in a very peaceful manner, so that you can have a constructive talk, one that aims for peace between your friends, your family, your partner. I've already spoken about this. Have boundaries. If there's any topic that really frustrates you, that you do not want to talk about, but some family member or someone keeps on bringing it up again and again, then let them know that, hey, I'm not comfortable in talking about this. Or, suppose you go to this family dinner and there is that really nosy aunt who keeps on asking you very disturbing questions or things you do not want to discuss. You need to have that boundary that, okay, hey, I really love you, but this is out of out of context, and this is something I'm not comfortable discussing with you. So perhaps we can talk on another topic. So have some boundaries. The more you're going to exercise boundaries in your relationships, the healthier those relationships become. And this is so important, especially for caregivers. If you are taking care of someone or some people 24/7 or all the time that you're awake, you are also not giving yourself that care. So have a fixed time every day to take care of yourself, doing what you love. And this is going to be your time. You can put a do not disturb board and tell people that this is my time. I do things all day for everyone, but this time is for me. I don't need to explain myself to anybody. I can do whatever I want. I can read books. I can go for a massage. I can listen to music. I can sing music. It really doesn't matter what I do in my self time. This is my time. And you do not need to even explain to anybody. I know I've seen a lot of caregivers go through this guilt that, oh no, if I take a break, then that person may not have, I will not be available to give care to so and so people. But for this, I would say that, what do people say when you get on a flight, when you get on an airplane, and they say that, first put on your own oxygen mask and then help your neighbor or help your family member. First, you need to survive. And for survival, you need to have that pampering time. You need to have that self-care time. And this could be any time of the day, but it has to be there. And you need to be, if it feels selfish to you, so be it. If it feels good to you, so be it. You need to have that time to give yourself space to integrate, to adjust all the emotions, all the feelings you have all throughout the day, and to do whatever you feel like. And I already touched on this. Learn to say no sometimes. And in fact, a lot of times you may have to say no to a lot of things. It's about time caregivers really begin to work on it, really begin to do it, because they're going to find it so much easier. They're going to have a lot more peace, and they're going to be like a lot more they'll be a lot more happier emotionally. They'll be a lot more healthier physically, mentally, when they begin to say no to things they do not want to participate in. And finally, do some breath work whenever you can, after you wake up, before you go to bed, when you feel stressed. I do a lot of breath work sessions in my YouTube, but I'm going to do it more because I think recently it's been really less, and I think over YouTube it's not been there at all. So on Mandalas, I can also do breath work with you. So if you're watching it from the Pacific timing zone, from Central timing, from Eastern timing, yeah, it's going to be good for you. It doesn't matter where in the world you're watching it from. If you're watching it from USA, Canada, then it's going to be morning over there, so you can begin your day with the breath work. And if you're watching it from like India, Bangladesh, and Sri Lanka, then it's going to be evening over here, so you can end the day with this breath work session. And I'm going to be doing it on certain Mondays, not every Monday. I'm going to make it like, on a Monday it could be about healing, on a Monday it could be about motivation, on a Monday it could be about meditation, something to make your Mondays much better. Anyways, I hope you had a wonderful time. I really loved talking to you guys right now. So I hope to see you again on next Monday. Take care and ciao.